I hope this problem is, it can be seen throughout Africa and Asian countries as well. But we come up with a solution, and the solution is to provide foreign currency convertibility guarantee.
Okay.
But now that restriction is going to be lifted on case-by-case basis for PPP projects. The development of the feasibility study is, slowing down because of that reason. We could not finish feasibility study on time. We could not get transaction advisory service on time because of main reasons. Because development partners has focused on Ukraine and other countries.
I know.
That's another challenge for us.
And it's my pleasure to welcome you for another episode of our Stakeholder Outreach Initiative by P3 World Council. It's been a long time we have done an episode of interacting with industry leaders in the PPP community. And today we are pleased to have the head of the PPP unit from Ethiopia, Mr. Abebe Yihdego, to interact with us, to discuss with us, and to help us understand how the PPP ecosystem in Ethiopia is progressing. Before I begin for the interview, let me first give you a short introduction of Mr. Yihdego. Mr. Yihdego has been an integral part of the Ethiopian PPP ecosystem for many years. Prior to heading the PPP unit, he led the PPP framework management and contract support directorate with the Ministry of Finance and Economic Cooperation. Mr. Yihdego has completed his LLM in International Taxation Law from University of Amsterdam and has done his Masters of Law LLM in Taxation and Investment Policy from Mekelle University. Mr. Yihdego, welcome to the Stakeholder Outreach Initiative by P3 World Council.
Thank you very much.
All right. To begin with, Mr. Yihdego, I would like to understand from you that over the past 5 years, we've seen that there are a lot of changes that has happened globally. We've seen the COVID, and now we are seeing major geopolitical developments like the Russia-Ukraine war and the consequent inflation that has impacted capital projects. So has there been any impact of these kinds of developments over the past 5 years, and especially the recent one on the PPP projects in your country?
Thank you very much. The issue is somehow very big because in Ethiopia's context, COVID-19 has affected the progress and development of projects. The first point is from the perspective of undergoing feasibility studies. Because of the restriction on mobility, we could not finish conducting feasibility study for some of the projects. That was the major challenge. The second challenge was related to, if you remember it or if you have seen global news on Ethiopia scaling solar project.
Yes.
Aqua Power was awarded to develop and implement the Guardian Diceto solar PV projects of 250 megawatts. But Aqua could not reach financial close because of the coincidence in the financial close and the COVID-19 epidemic. So now, for that main reason and for the reason which is construed to the foreign currency convertibility and transferability, Aqua Power could not reach financial close, and we were obliged to mutually agree to terminate the project.
Okay.
So you can understand how severe it is for us.
I do understand. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
And how about the current developments, Mr. Yihdego, about inflation and the current geopolitical developments of the war that's going on? I mean, have you seen any kind of impact happening on your PPP projects?
Again, because of the internal conflict situation, the development of some of the projects were also hampered. And now there is a big progress because of the peace deal, and we do believe that we can, develop more projects and engage private sector. For this very reason, we have also tried to address major impediment, which is related to the shortage of foreign currency. Okay. I hope this problem is, it can be seen throughout Africa and Asian countries as well. But we come up with a solution, and the solution is to provide foreign currency convertibility guarantee to the private sector. And at the same time, the availability issue is going to be addressed through, a shared kind of responsibility or a risk mitigation mechanism. And there was also another challenge, if I am clear to you. It is related to transferability of foreign currency.
Okay.
It was not allowed to open and own offshore account by foreign companies operating in Ethiopia.
Okay.
But now that restriction is going to be lifted on case-by-case basis for PPP projects.
Okay. Okay.
So this is, now we are ready, to deploy more projects, engage more private sectors, and even international financiers are also happy because of this measure taken by the government of Ethiopia.
Okay.
I think this is a biggest milestone for us to go forward on PPP.
Indeed, yes. You mentioned, Mr. Yihdego, some of the challenges with regards to foreign currency, and I'm sure there must be some domestic challenges as well. My next question to you is in the same regards, that what do you see as some of the major challenges that you see your PPP projects or the entire PPP ecosystem in Ethiopia faces currently?
I think the major challenge was this one, the one related to foreign currency convertibility and availability. Now we have addressed that problem because government is going to take risk of availing foreign currency by providing a guarantee and at the same time ensuring transferability of foreign currency. But to be honest, enhancing or working on import and export is going to address this problem once and for all. But when I came to PP, currently the major problem is that international financiers are somehow hampered in terms of providing finance to PPP project bids from the feasibility study and transaction advisory service level as well. So the development of the feasibility study is, slowing down because of that reason. We could not finish feasibility study on time. We could not get transaction advisory service on time because of many reasons. Because development partners has focused on Ukraine and other countries.
I know.
That's also another challenge for us. But in terms
what do you
of,
think the reason for this, Mr. Yihdego? Sorry to interrupt. I mean, you just mentioned that. What can be the reason you see for this kind of a challenge that you see? I mean, in regards to transaction advisory or international partners not, taking interest in the region. What major reasons do you see for that?
I think the point is a matter of availing finance to conduct feasibility study, and we do work on PPPs together with development partners.
Okay.
And unless we get the finance or the grant from development entities or financiers, it will be quite difficult for us, to undergo the feasibility study on time. Even sometimes there are some restrictions regarding to mobility. If technical advisors could not, come physically or in person to Ethiopia and undergo those feasibility study, again, the process of managing the feasibility study is going to take more time.
Okay.
So that's why the development of the feasibility studies is somehow slowed down. And to be honest, the Ukraine war has somehow diverted the attention of the development partners in terms of supporting developing countries like Ethiopia.
Correct. Correct.
We would like to focus on development initiatives, but the war in Ukraine has clearly took the attention. That's also another challenge.
I understand. Yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
And so, Yihdego, do you see what about the possibility of having a skilled workforce? Like, for example, do you see capacity building and skill development as one of the challenges that you see in your PPP ecosystem?
That's right. Yeah, that's why we are looking for development partners support in terms of technical support or financial support in conducting the feasibility study or in undergoing the transaction advisory services,
Okay. Okay.
Had we had enough capacity to manage those, we are not expected to look for international market.
Correct. Correct.
So in the past, I can say in the past 3-4 years, we have been closely working with African Development Bank. Okay. We have been closely working with the World Bank, and we have received technical support, or be it in capacity building and be it in on-job training. We have passed through that process, but still, you do understand the complexity of PPP.
Yes.
So if you just, now, at least from foundation perspective, we have got ample resource in that regard. But when it goes to, complex subject matter, then we still need more support.
I understand. I do understand. I'm glad to know that your government is taking steps with regards to improving the overall PPP ecosystem in your country. Moving on to the next question, what do you think are the steps the government is taking to attract investments? You just mentioned one with regards to some regulatory changes in regards to the foreign currency. So are there any other concrete steps or visible steps you see or you feel rather should be taken by the government in regards to attracting more investments or more attention of international partners or private sector, global private sector stakeholders on your PPP projects?
I think the government of Ethiopia is ready, to receive more foreign investment, and let alone for PPP projects. I mean, the measure which is taken on foreign currency availability and convertibility is a big step. Okay. The government of Ethiopia did not provide, or National Bank of Ethiopia did not provide this kind of support before. Okay. Now this step is taken, and we believe that it's a big measure that government is taking, or a big risk that government is taking. Okay. The other important issue is regarding framework-wise, we have the legal framework in place. Okay. We have the PPP proclamation or act. There are amendments. We have directive. We have PPP guidelines. Okay. Okay. Which are somehow more or less similar to the one developed by the World Bank and other international entities who confirmed that this is the best framework we have. So framework-wise, we are ready. But there is another action that's already taken 2 years before, which is on recognition of arbitral awards, If there is going to be any dispute, New York Convention was adopted for this very reason. Okay. So foreign investors are not going to worry. Okay. If there will be any disputes, then it's going to go to arbitration. Then after arbitration, award is going to be enforced, be it in Ethiopia or somewhere else. So that's also another step the government is to pay.
That's impressive. That's impressive. Yeah. Because these are the things that usually international investors or stakeholders usually look for into when they look forward to being a part of any PPP project in any country. And I'm glad to know these steps that your government is undertaking. My next question to conclude with regards to our conversation is, we had read, just as you mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, that there were many solar projects on PPPs that were being undertaken. I mean, one with the aqua power and all. And I'd read about more on wind power as well, that some projects were being announced in Ethiopia on the PPP basis. So what are some of the key projects that you can highlight for our global audience in regards to some key projects that you are undertaking in PPPs?
We have around 8 solar projects. And the feasibility study for around 6 of them is already finished. Okay. And 2 projects are under tender process out of the 8 solar projects. And we have 5 pipeline wind projects. Okay. And we are working on the feasibility study for the 4 of them. And while 2 of them are already advancing, we are going to finish feasibility study. And we believe that we'll enter into tender process by calling qualified bidders. Okay. So that's where we are in terms of solar and wind projects. But we also have hydro projects. I know that hydro is somehow it's not interesting for most private sectors, but we'll be serious even to consider direct negotiation if there are companies who would be interested to work on hydro projects in Ethiopia. That's also another point I would like to make. We have road projects, around 3 of them. We have logistics projects, 1 logistics project, which is expected to facilitate import and export of Ethiopia. And we have housing projects as well, affordable housing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we also have health projects, 3 health projects. 3 health. One on oncology, the other one is on diagnostic project, and the other one is on medical oxygen. Okay. So these are somehow the pipeline. In total, there are around 29 of them. 29 projects. Do you have any projects for the education sector? No, we still don't have that one. You look forward to? Sure, definitely. So now we are going from infrastructure to social infrastructure projects like health and housing. We believe that if we work on that area and we see that it's going to be successful, then we believe that we can do education sector. Okay, okay. And in regards to infra projects, yeah, please go on. It's a step-by-step process we are trying to see, because we want to see success story first. Indeed, yes. And I believe one thing: if one is successful, certainly the others definitely follow the process of how the projects have to be managed. You mentioned about some road projects. I mean, how many projects are there in the road infra sector? Sorry? The road infra? Yeah. So are there any projects in that as well? We have 3 projects, but 2 of them are being managed through concessional loan. But we still have one project which is going to be tendered soon. We are working on the feasibility study. Okay. Again, we are also going to include 2 more projects. Addis to Jimma, around 348 kilometers. And the other one is from Addis Ababa to Debre Marcos. It's also more than 500 kilometers. So we believe that those 2 projects are going to be managed through PPP modality because we are considering them to the pipeline projects list. So road project is also one of our target project areas. Thank you. Good. Thank you so much, Mr. Yihdego, for sharing your insights, for sharing the challenges that Ethiopia, your PPP unit is facing. And as P3 World Council, we would be glad to, engage with your PPP unit to, help navigate these challenges and also see some good success for your PPP projects. Yeah, thank you very much. The pleasure is mine. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Yihdego, for spending your time with us. It was a pleasure to have you for this conversation. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a nice day.